Hello, and thank you for joining me for Tune In Tuesday. My name is Sharon Rogers, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Wells, Maine. And every second and fourth Tuesday, I bring you an online class via my YouTube channel. Now, the second Tuesday of the month is devoted to techniques. So join me again in 2 weeks, and I'll have another technique class for you. But tonight's class, which is the fourth Tuesday of the month, is devoted to a bundle. So every fourth Tuesday, it's either a bundle or a stamp set that I focus on. And tonight's bundle is Scenic Adventure. And this bundle with a stamp and die combination is perfect for those who love the outdoors, perfect for masculine cards. It's just a really great set with lots of great sentiments that you can use for either card making or memory keeping. This You're Amazing is a larger font, which would look great on a memory keeping page. Let's get started and see what I have for you tonight. Okay, I'm going to do a little experiment with this card, and I am making a summer lake scene. First thing I'll need is some blue for my sky. So I'm going to choose Balmy Blue, which is my go-to for sky all the time. I'm just going to take a blending brush and just kind of come in over here. You'll see this on the next card as well. And I don't need it to be perfectly blended. I'm leaving some white spots in there so it looks a little mottled almost. It just looks like a more realistic sky, to me anyway. All right, now what I want to put down is a lake. And I think I'll use, that one might be a little bit bright for me. Let's go ahead and try Blueberry Bushel. That might be okay. Misty Moonlight might look nice too, but I'm going to try Blueberry Bushel. I'm going to just make it a fun kind of water look. Now, I do want to have some idea of where my water goes to, and I kind of want a hard line for that. So I'm just going to take, I'm going to take a piece of paper, and I'm going to tear it. And I'm going to tear it as evenly as I can, I mean, pretty smoothly. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Let's try it again. I want it, maybe the trick is just to tear it. There we go. So here we have, I'm going to put this down here and create somewhat of a mask with it. And let's just go ahead and tape it down right here. Okay, so now I'll take my blending brush and I'm going to blend this in here. Now I'm going to come in and stamp, but I do want to put a base. Oops, I do want to put a base down. Because where I don't stamp, I don't want it to be white. All right, so there's my lake. I'm going to take this same ink pad, and this right in here is little water ripples. Oh, I guess I already got it out somewhere. Here we go. I'm going to ink that up. And is there a right and a wrong way up? So when in doubt, I usually look at this, and it looks like the shorter ones are down at the bottom. So we're gonna stamp in here. And what I should do is I should bring this in, match it back up so that I can put the water all over. Just keep stamping. Fill that up. And if you decide you want the water to be darker, you can make it darker. I think I do want it a little bit darker. So I'm just going to come back in with this and blend a little bit more. It makes that water quite a bit darker. And I've got this little blob in here, so I need to, well, you know, though, when you're looking at water, there are parts that are deeper than others, and so that looks a little bit darker. Don't be so hard on yourself when you're creating. You're going to be the only one to notice a lot of your quote-unquote mistakes. And sometimes your mistakes are, as Bob Ross says, happy little accidents. All right, so there I've got my water. And now I want to put my forest in. So I'm going to come in with, I think I'm going to come in with shaded spruce. That seems like a realistic color to come in with. And we need a tree. Already got one mounted in here. So the only thing I need to be careful of is I need to make sure that I'm not gonna mess up this area right here. Let's see. How does this work? Can I mask it the same way? Not really. All right, we're just gonna be careful. We're just gonna be a little careful. I'm gonna mask, and I'm just going to keep stamping trees. Oh, that's not working very well for me, is it? I'm gonna fill this all up. So it doesn't matter that there's sometimes some of these spots. That, by the way, is because of the masking. You just keep filling them in because this is a forest. So you've got lots of trees in different heights. And it's okay that there's a little bit of white down here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the illusion of more forest or a denser forest. And I will do that again with a blending brush. So let's see, which one do I want to use? I guess I'll bring in this one. It's so clean, I hate to use it. But again, we're going to, a smaller one probably would have been better here. Just going to fill in some of that white area. Just add a little bit more green. But I'm avoiding the tops of the trees. Right. And if I want, I think I do want a little bit more of a tree down here. I want to cover that up just a little bit. So let's go ahead and stamp another tree. Let's fill in that area a little bit. There we go. Oh, that's nice. I like that. I like it. Clean up my mess that I'm making a little bit here. So here I have this. Let's see what we can stamp for. Oh, just breathe and take it slow. I like that sentiment. So I'm going to put that sentiment in here right up at the top. And just breathe and take it slow. That's a good one. That's a good one for somebody that's going through a tough time, or maybe they're climbing a mountain. And that's going to be the key. Just breathe, take it slow. What color should we put that in? I think I'm just going to put that in black. I'm going to stand up here. So I can hopefully get it straight. I wiggled it. I hope it's okay. It's okay. Just breathe and take it slow. And so now we just need to make some mats for this and turn it into a card. All right, if I bring in a layer of basic black and put that right against there, that's a nice card, I think. I think I have accomplished what I set out to accomplish. A pretty card, nature scene with just stamps. Stamps, ink, and paper. It's a sip card. And I love how those waves just add a little bit of fun to that lake. Just makes it a little bit more realistic looking. Let's put this up on dimensionals. Use up some of our edges so we can get out a new sheet. There we go. We just need something on the inside. So let's go ahead and put just a tree in the bottom here. Kind of tie it all together. This next card, I'm not going to use any stamps other than a sentiment at all. I'm going to use just the dies. So I'm going to create a summer mountain scene. So in the foreground, we're going to have a grassy knoll type of spot. And then we're going to have some trees. And you can see that this is plenty long. I've already got this pre-cut to the size that I want. And I don't need to worry that this one doesn't extend the whole way. I can go ahead and trim that afterwards. But what's interesting about this die is it doesn't cut the bottom. So when I put this on here, it's just going to cut this top edge here. So however tall you want that, you need to keep that in mind when you are die cutting. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to build something. So I'm going to want these trees to be a little bit higher. Now I can layer this over together. So I'm not really worried at how wide this is, but I am going to die cut as close to the top as possible, just for a little bit more security, shall we say. I'm going to cut some mountains. Let's see. And I think this piece is longer than I intended it to be. So let me just cut that down a little bit. My whole layer that I'm going to be building on is it's 4 3/4 inches long. So I'm going to put my mountains up near the top, right like that. And I may choose to have another mountain as well. I'm going to just die cut this one kind of from the bottom. This part under here isn't going to show anyway. So I think that's all my pieces. Oh yeah, I do want to cut some trees out. So I've got some old olive. So this was soft sea foam. This is mossy meadow. This is old olive. And we're just going to cut all of these pieces. You know what? I might even be able to get all on that one little piece. Fantastic. All right, let's bring in our die cutting machine. And should move these out of the way first, I think. Let's go ahead and put these on. I'm going to start building on here though, because I want to get things straight. This one doesn't matter. The trees I can make straight. Not those trees, just the individual trees, the large ones. All right, so put this on here. I'm going to put my mountains near, I'm cutting near the top. Go cut this little one down here. And this one, I'm going to, well, let's just do it there. Maybe a little bit lower. And then we need to put on, I don't know if I can get them all on at the same time. Let's see, we're gonna try. Nope, I don't think I can. I still need my trees, so that's okay. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get on as many as we can. I want my trees kind of going straight up and down. So that looks pretty good, I think. Yeah. We can fudge it by the way we angle the paper if it's not completely straight. Let's cut these pieces. So you see how it only cuts the top off, which is going to make building very nice. Now this one was not long enough, so what we'll have to do here is we'll just have to snip to the edge. There we go. Oops. So there we have that, just a little bit of grassy detail there. And then we have our mountains. And that one just didn't quite go to the end. And over here, see how it just cuts the top? I'm gonna just cut that off. And then we want to cut those other trees. So let's put our bases back in here. And then we'll put our tree dies on this little cardstock piece here. And we will die cut those. Great use of scraps. Those trees. Here's a little tree. Make sure I just throw away paper I don't need. All right. Let's build our card. So I have this piece of basic white. Now, I said I wasn't going to stamp, but I am going to ink a little bit, just to add a little bit of sky up here. And what I could do, let me show you. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to use this, I think, as a little cloud outline. I think I might be able to do that. You know what? If I can't, I'll just flip it over and try again. Let's ink this up a little bit. And I just want to put a little bit of a sky in here. So I'm just gonna bring in a little bit of blue. And I'm not even worrying if it is solid enough. And let's just go ahead and very, very subtly it's very, very subtle. You just see what looks to be like bits and pieces of a cloud outline. All right, so it just adds a little bit more fun to the card. Just a little bit. You can do that with torn paper. You can do it with cloud dies. You can do it with a lot of things. All right, so now let's see if we can sort of build this. So I'm going to put my gray there. And then I think I want my little trees in here. And oops, I need my other. So see how I'm just building this from the back to the front. And then, so this kind of looks a little odd over here. So we're just going to put these trees right over here. And these trees are a little bit more in the foreground. Let's see, do I want to put them? Or I could put this one over here. I could kind of put it off to the, right here. Yeah. All right, so now let's just glue everything down. If you wanted to brush or blend some ink on here to make some shadows, you could certainly do that as well. But I'm just gonna glue this down. And there are some little cut marks in here, so I want to make sure that I don't get my glue too close to them because the glue will ooze out of there. Let's see where we want that. I mean, we can pull it all the way down here to the bottom if we want to. I don't want it to extend below my white, though. The white is the size that I want it for the mat that I've already cut. Okay, and then we're gonna cut, we're gonna glue this one down. I'm gonna leave most of the treetops free. So here we have a line of trees before you get to the mountains. And then we've got a meadow. That's going to go right here at the bottom of the white. Here we go, just like that. And now we're gonna put these trees. Now, when I build my card, I've got a piece of cloud cover here in color this year. And then I've got another piece of Secret Sea, which just looks so beautiful with that cloud cover. And I'm going to adhere this. I'm just looking to see if I want my trees to extend below here at all. I don't think I do. I think I can extend them off to the side a little bit, but I don't think I want to bring them below the bottom here. So that'll be good. And then I'll just be figuring out where I want to put my single tree. All right, so let's extend this off to the side just a little bit. Got my mountains showing. You know what you could also do is take a little bit of white, some of the white refill, and just take a blender pen and put some snow on the top of the mountain. Because right now where I live, I'm going to show you how to do that. There is snow on top of Mount Washington. So we're just gonna do this. That's how it's gonna look. Now we need to know where this guy's going. We could put him over here. I could put him right here. I don't like him right down at the bottom there. Let's see if we can. Yeah, we could do that. This little tree kind of got trimmed off at a very inopportune spot, so I'm gonna cut him off a little bit. Oops, I cut my mountain a little bit. I didn't cut it. It just kind of came unglued. I don't think there was any glue there. So you do want to be a little bit careful with this. There we go. Now he won't move. Let's see, do I want that there? No, I think I want it over here. That's where I'm going to put him. It's on the other side. This is a great masculine card. Let's just put it right on the edge there. There we go. I glue this to my secret C. There we go. And I'm going to put that up on dimensionals. Let's see if I can use up some of my little dimensional parts and pieces that I have here. I've got a lot, so I decided I was not going to break out a new one until I'd used some of the edges of my old ones. All right, this one will work here. So you could get away with just doing a white sky, but I think it does look so much nicer just adding that little bit of blue there. All right. You know, I don't know if I like this guy here. Well, it's too bad, I guess. I probably could have put him down a little bit further. I wonder if I just take off some of the bottom of this. Might look a little bit more natural. There we go. There we go. I like that. And we could put a sentiment right here if you want to put a sentiment on the front. I did say I was only going to stamp a sentiment and that it will be true. So let's see. Just breathe and take it slow. I think it's too large. Too large for down here. It is. It extends into the die cutting, the die cut pieces. So I'm going to have to use a sentiment from another stamp set. All right, now I did say that I was going to show you what you could do with a little bit of re-inker. So if I take a little re-inker and I put it on my glass mat, just a little bit, because I'm only going to be coloring a bit up here. What I can do is take my blender pen and I can just add some snow caps. Oops. I got it on my sky. I looked away for a second. And you'd probably want to make this a little bit of a jagged edge down here. And what I would do is I would let that dry, and I might even, well, I might speed it up with a heat tool. But that's just gonna show a little bit of snow. Let's take my heat tool and see what we can do. Sometimes if you do more than one layer, it will get to be a little bit less opaque. The other thing you could do is you could actually die cut another mountain top. And then by die cutting another mountain top, you could just stick it right over the top. Just, you know, cut around it a little bit. It's not quite dry, but I wanna add a little bit more white. The other thing, you know, if you don't want to use this, if you have a white color pencil, like the watercolor pencil that I recently used on a project, you could do that as well. You could sprinkle some embossing powder on here, all sorts of things. There we go. We just have a little bit of snow right up at the top. Nothing big, just a little something extra. I mean, it is spring. We don't want too much snow up there, right? It's time for summer. I love snow, but I'm also one who loves it in its season. All right, let's go find a sentiment to put on here, which we should have stamped first. However, I'm going to live on the edge. All right, I'm going to bring in the Right Words, which is a new stamp set filled with just words, all the right ones. And I'm going to say sending good vibes. That's kind of what this particular scene says to me. And I think what I'll do is I will stamp that in Mossy Meadow to mimic those trees. Let's hope I can do this without goofing up. Please work. There you go. Sending good vibes. Not bad. Not perfect, but it's handmade. And so there is just a really pretty outdoorsy scene. All right, here's just a little bit of an evaluation of my own work. If I were to do this again, first of all, I would stamp first. But I would probably move this layer down just a little bit, just because that expanse seems to be quite a bit. Now, obviously it could be, rolling hills, and so those are just further in the background, but and so there's no detail here, but I think I would like the gap in there closed just a little bit. But again, hindsight. For the inside, I've die cut another couple trees. I'll just put those inside. Don't need a ton of glue. Just something to stick them down. There we go. And sending good vibes. Let's go ahead and stay with the Right Words, and I'm going to say happy birthday. Who doesn't need birthday cards? All right. Let's get that Mossy Meadow ink back out. Happy birthday. There we go. I'm so grateful you're taking the time to watch this video. And if you love that last card, then I have an offer for you. For anyone placing an order of $40 or more in my online store, not only will you earn Stampin Rewards of 10% of that merchandise amount, but I will also send you 2 card kits that will allow you to create these 2 of this card. I'll have everything die cut for you. I can't stamp images, that's against Stampin' Up policy, but I can do die cuts. And so that's why I'm going to offer you 2 of these cards sent to you in the mail for free. All you have to do is assemble them and stamp your own sentiment. Now let's get back to the 3rd card, which uses not just stamps, not just dies, but both of them together. And it's a case, copy and share everything, of something that is in the online store. All All right, I'm bringing in a piece of basic white, and this measures 3 by 3 1/4. You could probably use a 3 by 3 or 3 by 3 1/2, doesn't matter. I will start by bringing in Darling Duckling. So Darling Duckling is a new yellow. It's pretty vibrant. It's kind of bold. I'm going to use a blending brush, and we're just going to blend a little bit of yellow up in here. So we're creating a nice little sunset. All right. And then let's go ahead and, well, let's go a little bit more, I guess. Probably should have the darker one down at the bottom. All right. So there we go. And then we're going to bring in Timid Tiger, another new in color. Now, because this is darker, I don't need to clean this off. But I always do tap this off just to get that really bold first part off. And I'm going to overlap this a little bit. Blend those colors just like you see in a sunset. Oop, got a little strong up there. It's all right. We'll make it work. All right, and then we're going to finish off with Calypso Coral. Got a little bit more of a red undertone here. We'll just blend that in as well. So this is going to be, means it's going to be a really hot day the next day after you see this kind of sunset. All right. Let's add some trees. First of all, let's kind of wipe up some of this off my glass mat studio. One of the beauties of the glass mat, but you can also use some scrap paper, some grid sheets. Secret C, I'm going to bring in my trees. So in the Scenic Adventure stamp set, there are these 3 trees, and we're going to use all of them. So I'm going to, maybe I'll start with a wider one first. And we're going to vary the heights these trees are stamped at. All right. And let's have that one there. And let's see. And then we have this little guy. Oops, didn't stamp him very well. There we go. Okay to overlap them. They do overlap in the forest. So you've got a lot of trees in that forest. Really pretty. All right, I'm just gonna, this just helps me save some washing of my stamps. So I don't have to change and clean my Stampin' Scrub so much. I washed it yesterday and it was filthy. And I could tell because my stamp blocks were getting kind of gross as I was cleaning with them. So there was a lot of soapy film left on there. Okay, so now we have this, and I'm bringing in a card base of Secret C, and this is gonna, oh, look at how pretty that is, just so nice. So Secret C is a very dark blue, almost a black. It's a very, very pretty color, and I will be popping this up, but I think I want to give a little texture or a little something to the back of this cardstock, and I can do that with stamps. So I could put these little cloud pieces on here just to give it some perceived texture, Or I could bring in an embossing folder, like So Swirly or something else. But I think what I'm going to do is I think I will go ahead and I'm just going to stamp those clouds. Because I have those clouds, I might as well make use of them. If I wanted to level this card up a bit, instead of stamping right here, I could cut another layer. And in the sample that Stampin' Up made, which is a little bit different than mine, in the sample that they made, they actually cut a window in this card layer so that you could put the other one behind it. I'm not going to do that. I mean, I could, but I'm not gonna. All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna take our cloud, and I got my cloud out already. So let me free up a block. Here's my clouds. And I'm just gonna stamp tone on tone. So we're just gonna do this. And nobody's really going to be able to tell what it is out there. Doesn't matter. It's just a design. You might be able to tell, I suppose. I think I'm seeing a hair, but I can't identify it on the stamp, so maybe it's just a light reflection. All right. So these look like clouds, but they also look like mountains. So I guess they can be whatever you want them to be. I probably can get rid of my glass mat now, but let's not take the time to do that. So now we have this, and we will pop this up on dimensionals. So let's go ahead and take some of those. Put them in the corners. I love creating sunsets with blending brushes, and there are so many stamp sets for which that will look so beautiful. Okay, so there we have that as our card front. And see, we're just going to put that on here, and just gives a bit more of a finished look to it. Now, the sample they had used You're Amazing. This is a very large stamp for words, and that's because it would work very nicely with scrapbooks as well as cards. You know, sometimes you just want something to take up a whole lot of room. I'll go ahead and bring in my Stampin' Scrub and get some of these clean. Okay, here is our Cajun Craze, and we'll bring in our embossing. And you know what? Instead of You're Amazing, I think I'm going to create a card. You're Amazing is very nice, but I'm going to create a card for some of the people that I'm going to be camping with shortly. We go on an annual camping trip to for 4th of July, and sometimes where we go differs. But I'm going to say, let the adventure begin. I'm going to stamp adventure. And then I'm going to stamp, this is kind of large, but that's all right. I'm going to stamp let the and begin. That's on the same stamp. So you could cut those apart if you wanted to. I'm sure that on some level it is meant so that you can put a word in here. So maybe you could fit journey in between the let the and begin. Probably could do it with adventure, although adventure is a little bit higher, so I'm choosing just to do them separately here. We'll take our embossing powder out. And add it. One thing that's so great about these trays is it catches all the stuff and you can funnel it right back into the jar very easily without making a mess everywhere. Provided you put the end of the funnel right over the center of the jar. Ask me why I have to say that to you. And yes, it has to do with the fact that I have made a mess before, even with the tray, because I was not paying attention. My own fault. When you see it turn shiny and bold, that's when you know it has been heat set. So you move along to the next section until it's all done. Now I'm going to do a couple of different kinds of cuts. I'm going to just do some straight cuts on the small words. So let the begin. I think that's cut a little bit crooked. So there we go. And then we're just going to kind of go around this. So we're going to have this, and I think I will move it down a little bit. So again, I am casing something in the online, but a case does not have to be exact. And maybe I put that right up there, and we put this. Maybe we even put begin on the inside. That would be kind of different. All right. Now I need a few more elements for this. And for that, I need to do a little bit of die cutting. So in this Scenic Adventure dies, there is a little rock. And there's campfire. And crossed wood logs that go with the campfire. So one of the best parts about camping are the campfires that we get to sit around. And oftentimes there's this little rock. So sometimes there's a circle of rocks that show where your pit is. And sometimes there's this one big rock. It kind of helps buffer the fire from the wind a little bit. And that's at a lot of campgrounds that we go to. Let's bring in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and we can cut all these pieces all at once. Plates 1 and 2. And a number 3 plate. And then we're going to put down our rock and our wood, And we're going to take a little bit of orange, or pumpkin pie, I should say, and we're going to put the flames in that. So we'll cut all those pieces out. Now, if I had the time, but I'm not going to take your time, but if I had the time, I would probably cut a bunch of these out all at once and then just keep them with the dies in the stamp case. That way I'd be ready to go for more fire. So look at this cute little stack of wood. And a little fire here. And our, oh, it doesn't cut out the rock. So we kind of have to finish that off. There we go. So we kind of have that rock there. All right. Let's go ahead and put my dies back off to the side where I'll know where they are. Okay. We bring this in over here, and I think I will cut down this a little bit more. So we're going to have that going on. We've got to put our little fire in there. So I'm just setting things up right now, make sure I can get them the way I like them. And we need my little adventure words. I'm going to put the adventure right over there, I think. So kind of even it with the rock. And then I'll put my little begin down here. Let the adventure begin. Yeah, that's kind of cute. That's kind of cute, I think. All right, let's adhere some of these pieces. All right. Let the and I'm going to adhere the rock to this piece right here, just like that. And adventure is going to come in just like this. And I am going to take some of my adhesive strips. Now, if you've never used adhesive strips, they work just like dimensionals. They come in these thin little strips, though, that you can just take off, and you can kind of cut them to the length you need them to be. But it's great for those long, skinny areas. Oops. And even though the package looks like it doesn't contain a lot, it contains 2 strips that are, you know, that long. It really does last quite a while. So we're gonna put that right here. Make sure that's straight. There we go. And then we'll put our little fire in there. Let's see if I can get my wood over the fire. Okay, there we go. And then we want to put our little begin. I think we'll put our begin right down here on the edge, just to mimic the let the being on the edge. There we go. Now I have a little bit of adhesive from my fingers on this piece, so I'm just going to rub that off. And now it's time to adhere this to the base of the card. Let the adventure begin. Probably if I had to do it again, I might put the begin a little bit lower. And I might put it right over here, or maybe even right underneath where the wood goes. I wonder if I can get this off easily. I bet I can, and then I can, let's see. But I think I probably, maybe it would have been better to put it here. Oh, there we go. Let the adventure begin. There we go. There is our card. Different than the original, but just different. No better, no worse. We just need to stamp something on the inside. Now remember how I said it would be nice if we had just some of these kicking around? Well, I went ahead and did that because it would be nice, and I'm going to use it right now. I did see Can't Wait to See You Again. And that's going to be perfect for this card because I can't wait to see them again around the campfire. We're going to stamp that sentiment. Again, let's just keep the same color going. Can't wait to see you again. And this barely fits on here. Maybe I'll put it up here. Can't wait to see you again. And I'm going to write something in here. Can't wait to see you again. And I'm going to write around the, and put my little campfire in there. Because I see these people all the time. Just not around the campfire. Here we go. We'll put this. And when you're writing things in, if you want to write them in the same color, Stampin' Write markers are great for that. It's a little bit bolder than I would normally do, but I'm just going to write around the campfire. Let the adventure begin. I'll send this to them the week before we go, just to get a little excited for the fun that we're going to have. So to recap, we have a stamps only card, a die only card, with the exception of the sentiment, which doesn't count in my opinion, and then stamps and dies. So 3 very different looking cards, all from the same bundle. So which card was your favorite? Was it this one? I personally like this one most because of the water. It makes me think of the lakes that I grew up around. I live in an ocean community, but I'm not really an ocean girl. So I can't wait to go to our family camp in northern New Hampshire and swim in the lakes up there. It's going to be a little while because the water's still very cold, but by August it should be good. Or maybe you liked this one the best because it reminds you of the mountains and you love going on hikes in the mountains. We camp every 4th of July in the White Mountain National Forest, and so this kind of reminds me of that, especially with a snow-capped mountain there. But I think probably most of you are going to say that your favorite was this one because, let's face it, who doesn't love a vibrant sunset? I know I do, but I also love campfires and I can't wait to have them. Camping season is just around the corner. I go in 2 weeks for my first camping trip and I can't wait. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to be headed to the family cabin in northern New Hampshire in just a couple days, and so Friday Night Live will be live from Pittsburgh, New Hampshire, where I will build some other scene using the Scenic Adventure set. Don't forget, if you would like the supplies to be able to create 2 of this card, simply place an order of $40 or more in my online store and I will mail those to you, and you will also earn Stampin Rewards of at least $4 towards a future purchase. So don't forget that we've recently changed our reward system, and so every order that's over $20 earns Stampin Rewards towards future purchases, making those future purchases a little bit nicer. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you soon for Lunchtime Look on Thursday or Friday Night Live on Friday.